Happy Halloween, everyone. This is Jim Branscombe from Cinematic Void, back once again for another edition of In the Mouth of Cinemadness. Again, this is just a bit, and I don't know why I keep doing it. But anyway, this is a sub-series of the Cinematic Void vlog, where I talk about all the movies that had a major impact on me, infected my brain, and eventually helped manifest Cinematic Void as you know and love today. Or maybe just like, I don't know, love might be too strong a word, but it's something I love because I get to do it. For the film I'm talking about today, since it's Halloween, obviously we should talk about John Carpenter's Halloween.
Halloween.
I think he'll come back.
Halloween, the night he came home. Rated R.
Now, I'm sure most of you have a fond memory of when you first saw Halloween and how it affected you. For me, I don't want to say mine's very unique, but because I kind of came into the Halloween series very backwards, I saw Halloween 2 and 3 before I saw part 1, I definitely had a different expectation for the movie. As a kid going to the video store, I vividly remember seeing that Halloween cover and just being like, that is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. But for some reason, I just never rented it. And by happenstance, I was at Blockbuster Video, and it was, around spooky season, and they had just released a bunch of like cheapo VHS tapes. And they had things like Night of the Living Dead, Rosemary's Baby, Friday the 13th, all for like maybe $2.99 or something, and Halloween was one of those.
This Halloween, Blockbuster Video has a special treat for your whole family. You can take home any of these great Halloween classics for just $7.99. Or rent 2 movies and get them for $3.99. Now, if that's not a reason to scream, what is? Make it a Blockbuster fright.
Their copy of Halloween didn't have the really cool cover with the pumpkin and knife. It was just maybe a shot of Jamie Lee Curtis with Michael Myers right behind her. But I was like, for $2.99, I can't really argue that price, so I bought it. So after I purchased the tape, I actually waited until Halloween to watch it. It was probably a couple of weeks, plus I had a big pile of other things that I was more actively watching. So I remember when I popped that tape in and I kind of sat down. It was actually before school. It was really early in the morning. I don't know why I decided to watch it before school, but that's what I did. So as I was watching Halloween for the first time, I couldn't help but kind of compare it to Halloween 2, which is a little weird and unfair, but because that was my point of reference and some of the things that happen in Halloween you get to see in Halloween 2. I mean, I basically knew where things were headed. And I think at the time I was under the impression that like Halloween 2 was way better than Halloween, but that really wasn't the case, and it became abundantly clear as I was watching the movie. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy Halloween 2, but from that beautiful orchestrated Steadicam shot by Dean Cudney and John Carpenter to just Donald Pleasance like setting up the whole mythos of Michael Myers as Michael Myers gets closer and closer and just very sneakily starts wiping out all Laurie Strode's friends until she and the 2 kids are the only one left. I was very captivated by it. And by the time you get to that final shot where Donald Pleasance looks over the balcony to go see where the body of Michael Myers is and it's gone, I just remember saying to myself, and maybe I even said it aloud, was like, damn, this is a really great movie. But as I would rewatch it, usually during Halloween season, I just started getting more and more into it and just realizing it's not just a great movie, it's a masterpiece. It's well shot, John Carpenter's incredible score. Like a lot of things I think with movies is pacing and flow, and Halloween just like nails it. It starts off strong, you get your character development, but it's this driving narrative that once you get there and once Michael Myers is squaring off with Laurie Strode, it's just this incredible, tense cat and mouse game. Obviously, the Halloween franchise is hampered by many sequels. I know people love them, other people hate them, but for me, when you look at the purity of what Halloween is, it is really a perfect movie. It's a perfect slasher movie. There's a lot of slashers that came out after it that just were even remotely as good, and I think a lot of it has to do with John Carpenter as a director, Deborah Hill as a producer, and just how it all came together. Like, it was a bunch of people making this movie that love movies and were really hungry to make something great because they wanted to make a statement. That's one of my favorite things about genre movies of this era, is that the filmmakers love film, they love genre film, and it shows because, you know, it's not just like, hey, we're making a horror movie to make money. Sure, that's a contributing factor in why the movie exists, but like, just pushing it to make it as great as you can and just making a statement. And it's something that's really missing from a lot of horror movies. A lot of those movies are just kind of soulless, and you know, there's no craft to it. It's just all homages or just like nods. There's no real structure or soul to it. The lesson filmmakers should take from Halloween isn't that, you know, it was a very successful indie horror movie, is that it was made by people that understood their craft. And that is why Halloween stands the test of time. Not because Michael Myers is wearing the William Shatner mask, not because it takes place on Halloween. It's because it's a great movie made by people that give a shit. So that wraps up this edition of In the Mouth of Cinemadness. Why don't you sound off the comments? Tell me about the first time you saw Halloween and what kind of effect it had on you. Until next time, see you in the void and happy Halloween.
What's the matter? Can't I get your ghost, Bob?